such a very humorous. Sometimes because that is not possible in front of us if animal is there, and we should not have any time how we will save ourselves. So it is a humorous poem. And about the 7 animals we will study, like that lion, tiger, leopard, chameleon, then a bear and a hyenas. So different qualities given in this poem. Now I am starting with reading. After this reading I will tell you difficult word meaning also, and at the end we will study about the poetic devices. Regarding homework I am telling you again, this poetic device, but when you are writing in your notebook, example also you have to write with definition, and it will be easy for you because during the exam time you can easily revise. What do you understand by this poetic devices? So write definition also, and after that example also. I think I mean to say like that in which line these poetic devices are used. So now I am starting how to tell wild animals. Stanza 1. If ever you should go by chance to jungles in the east, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is the Asian lion. So this is the stanza 1, and in this the poet is talking about Asian lion. So the poet is saying, suppose if you ever you should go by chance if you go to jungles in the east, it means that east side jungles if you go, and if there should go to your advance means move forward, and suddenly if you found a large and tawny beast. Tawny means orange or brownish color or yellowish brownish color, because we all know lion color is a orange, brownish or yellowish brown color. So that is the tawny, and this means animal. So suppose in front of you there is a very large and the yellowish or the brownish animal is there in front of you, and suddenly if he roars, roar is the sound of the animal, and if he roars at you, you are dying, and you think like that you are dying means dying. In Hindi we say mar rahe ho. Suppose you in front of you there is an Asian lion, and suddenly he started roars at you, and you think like that we are dying. You will know it is the Asian lion. So how will you identify? By the this tawny beast means the brownish color, or if that animal roars at you, it means easily we can understand that it is the Asian lion. Second stanza. Or if sometime when roaming round, a noble wild beast greets you with black stripes on a yellow background, just notice if he eats you. This simple rule may help you learn the Bengal tiger to listen. So by ending we can understand in the second stanza the poet is talking about the Bengal tiger. Or if sometime when roaming around, and sometime by the walking purpose if you went in the forest, roaming means walking, a noble wild beast greets you. Greet means welcome, and suddenly you found that in front of you a noble wild beast. Noble means a highest social class, because the tiger, this lion, they have a highest social position in the jungle or in the forest. So a noble means higher social class. Wild beast, so in front of you a high class animal is there, and if he welcomes you, actually earlier I told you it is a humorous poem because not any other animal welcome. Suddenly as they saw the human being, they start to fight on and they kill the human being, but it is a humorous poem. So the poet is saying like that if in front of you there is a noble wild beast and he greets you with a black stripe on a yellow background, because we all know the tiger body skin color is a background is yellow color, and on this yellow background there are the black color lines. These are known as the black stripes on a yellow background. Suppose in front a highest social class, and if that animal welcomes you, and on his body there is a yellow background, and on the yellow background black color line also. This simple rule may help you learn. Then this only by these two things easily you can learn that in front of you, who is in front of you, the Bengal tiger to discern. I mean to say like that, in front of you there is a Bengal tiger. Then the third stanza. If strolling for a beast you view, whose hide with spots is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain. He will only lap and lap again. Now in the third stanza, the poet is talking about the leopard. If a strolling folk, it means if for walking only for the enjoyment. If you went in the forest just only for the walking, and which walking means not purpose of the exercise, only the enjoyment. If you went in the forest and you view means see, and if you see there is another animal whose hide, here the hide means skin, hide. Whose hide with spots is peppered. It means on his body, on his skin, there are spots, black color spots. Black color spots on his body is peppered. Peppered means covered. It means that animal's body is covered with the spots. As soon as he leapt on you, and as this animal will see at you, suddenly will start to jump on you. Leapt means jumped. Leapt means jumped, and in front of you there is another animal whose body is covered with black color spots, and suddenly he start to jump on you. You will know it is the leopard. Then by these two things, it means the black color spots on his body, and by the by the jump, if that animal started to jump on you, then you can understand it is the leopard. 'Twill do no good to roar with pain. It means then suddenly you will start with pain, with grief, because in front of you animal and he is jumping on you. Of course there will fear in your heart. So not any other chance if you will roar or if you will cry by the pain. No one will help you, because he will only lap and lap again. Because in the reality we all know, if animal started to jump on us, it means sure very soon he will kill us. That animal will kill us. But this poem is a humorous, so the poet is saying like that, no need to be worried, he will only jump and jump on your body. Next stanza. If you are walking round your yard, if you meet a creature there who hugs you very, very hard, be sure it is a bear. If you have any doubts, I guess he will give you just one more kiss. So in the next stanza, the poet is talking about a bear. If you are walking round your yard means in Hindi we say aangan. If you are in your house and there is a yard, and if you are walking in the yard, you meet a creature there, and suddenly you can meet there is another animal with another animal who hugs you. And who hugs you? That animal hugs you very, very, very tightly, very hardly. Be sure it is a bear. So by this you can understand that animal is bear. If you have any doubt, I guess he will give you just one more kiss. It means now also if you are not sure that it is the bear, then one more time he will hug you very tightly, very hardly. So by this you can understand that in front of you there is a deer. Next stanza. Thou to distinguish beast of prey, a novice might nonplus. The crocodile you always may tell me from the hyena thus. Hyenas come with merry smile hyenas, and if they weep, they are the crocodiles. So in this stanza again, now I am explaining. Thou to distinguish beast of prey, a novice might nonplus. Novice means someone new to a job. Novice means a person who doesn't know what is the difference between hyena and the crocodile, because he is the new in the job. He didn't know about hyenas and he didn't know about the crocodile also. That person is called a novice. And nonplus means get puzzled or confused. If we are in the confusion that what is the difference between crocodile and hyenas, so here the poet has given the description. So by easily we can differentiate that who is the hyena and who is the crocodile. A novice might nonplus, maybe a person who is new in this job, he will get confused, he will get puzzled when he will look both of these, crocodile and hyena. The crocodile you always may tell from the hyena thus. Hyenas come with merry smiles. So this is the difference. The hyenas, whenever we look at hyenas, they will come with merry smiles. There will be a smile on their face. But suddenly any other animal who is in front of you look like a hyena, but who is not a smiling, who is a weeping, you can understand these are the crocodiles. In Hindi also we know like that magarmach ke aansu mat baho. It means crocodile always cry, crocodile always weep. So we have this simply in the normal language we say. So by this we can differentiate. If they are weeping, it means they are the crocodile. If they come with a merry smile, with a big smile, with a happy smile, that is the hyena. Then the last stanza. The true chameleon is a small, a lizard sort of thing. He has not any ears at all and not a single wing. If there is nothing on the tree, this the chameleon you see. So now in the last stanza, the poet is talking about a chameleon. In Hindi we say girgit. Chameleon and the lizard, in Hindi we say chipkali, because both have the same appearance. Then also the difference, which kind of difference? That if the true chameleon is small, the true chameleon is small, it has a small size just like the lizard. A lizard sort of thing, and they look like a lizard. He has not any ears at all, but the chameleon has no ears and not a single wing, and they have no wing also. This is the difference between lizard and the chameleon. If there is nothing on the tree, this is the chameleon you see. See, there is a confusion in the last second line and the last line. Once the poet is saying there is nothing on the tree, sorry, this is the poetess. So this poetess is saying that if there is nothing on the tree, if on that tree nothing, then the second line, last line the poet is saying this is the chameleon you see. Because you know in Hindi we say always girgit ki tarah rang mat badlo. It means that this chameleon can change its color according to the color of the tree. See, if the tree is dry, it has a no green color, then the chameleon will change its color according to the skin of the tree. And if the tree is full of leaves, is full of green branches, it means the tree has a green color, then this chameleon will change its color in the green. Just because why this chameleon change its color? Because no one can notice that there is on the tree chameleon is there. So the true chameleon is a small, a lizard sort of things. He has not any ears at all and not a single wing, and they have no ears, they have no wing. If there is nothing on the tree and in front of you there is a tree, and on that tree there is nothing, easily you can understand that sure there is a chameleon, because chameleon can change its color according to the color of the tree, green or any other color. So with this explanation is completed. Now we will discuss about the poetic devices. So first of all I have written rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme, we all know how we will write the rhyme scheme. See, the like that the first stanza last word is chance, ending sound is chance, sound, so I have written a. Then the second line east, the sound is different from the exclamation mark, apostrophe, any other. These all are known as the punctuation mark. So after a line, if punctuation mark not given, it means this is the emjambment. And emjambment you can see in this first paragraph, first stanza. After first line chance, there is not any other punctuation mark. This is emjambment. After third line advance, no punctuation mark. This is also emjambment. Like that in second stanza also, fourth line. This simple rule may help you learn. After learn, there is no punctuation mark. So this is called the emjambment. Here I have not written definition, but when you will write in your notebook, you have to write definition also and examples also. Don't write only the first stanza example. Even in all the stanzas, emjambment is repeating. So mention all the examples. Then the next is the inversion. Inversion means when a sentence is not given in a proper order. Proper order means what is the proper order of a sentence? First we write subject, then verb, then object. So this is called the inversion. Now inversion is given in the stanza 1. Stanza 1 you can see like there is the third line. If there should to you advance. So to you advance, this is not according to the subject sentence order, but then also poetess has written, so this is called the inversion. Inversion definition means when in poetry one sentence is not given in its proper order. This is called the inversion. Then the next is assonance. Assonance we all know, if there is in a line vowel sound is repeating 2 or more than 2 times, that is called the assonance. Assonance you can see in the first stanza, one line, you should. You and should. OU, whose sound is repeating. So this is the assonance. In the other stanzas also assonance. Then the next is alliteration. Alliteration means if there is a repetition of consonant sound, this is called the alliteration. And alliteration is given in the second stanza, roaming round. So this R sound is repeating. So this is called the alliteration. Then the next is the allusion. Allusion means what? When the poet or the poetess talking about a famous personality or a famous specific thing or maybe animal or human being, that is called the allusion. Allusion, see, when in one stanza the poet was talking about the Asian lion. Which Asian lion? Which we found in the east side. It means we are talking about the specified animals, those are found in the east side. Like that in the Bengal tiger. Which kind of tiger? Those we found in the Bengal. So these are known as the Bengal tiger. So this is called the allusion. Then the next is repetition. Repetition, lab and lab. We all know if a word is repeating in a stanza, this is called the repetition. Then next is a consonant. Consonants means if there is a consonant sound is repeating, but it's not compulsory in the beginning. Maybe one is the ending and one is the beginning, or both are in the ending given. So this is called the consonant sound. Then one more poetic device. This is called the poetic license. Poetic license we see the left spelling is given, but the spelling is this. But for the poetic rhyme, the poetess has written the spelling like this. Only for the poetic rhyme. So this left and left the poetess has written. This is called the poetic license. So now this poem is completed. So you have to write question answers. Before the question answers, these word meanings and these poetic devices you have to explain in your notebook, and after this class I will send you question answers. For the question answers I will send you